Hello, I'm Scott. I'm the breathing guy. I will train you to locate, generate, activate core key energy in physical activity. This video is tennis serve mechanics, and I have gotten two questions I will answer. One is about the grip and how to position your little finger, and the other one is the actual serve itself. So I'm going to deal with the grip first, make it short, and how to really judge your grip in relationship to purpose. What is the purpose of your grip? It's to transfer the momentum of the movement of the hands forward to the snap, into the snap to a point like a bullwhip, and then follow through on that. How much kinetic energy can you transfer into the racket itself is how you judge it. How much force. So any grip suggestions I make is the ability to transfer your whole, if you want to say the energy and the snap itself, force, kinetic energy into the racket. That's how you judge it. Finding what works for you is the key element. I'm going to make suggestions, you test them. And I'll back up what I say, I feel is the best. But I don't know if you can do it, but find what works for you is the key element for this whole video series. I'm only going to give you suggestions and why this versus that. So you make the judgment and you modify what you want. So let me answer the question of should the little finger here be here on the butt around here, or should it be here? My argument, it should be here. Why? Because the little finger is closer to the palm. The ring finger can work together. Because to make a snap is virtually squeezing the little finger and the ring finger to not the middle finger. So that's the idea. When you want to stop, then you want to freeze the racket to your palm, then you engage the middle finger. I'll work with the thumb and position of things in a minute. But right now, so understanding, the closer the little fingers to the palm, the stronger it is. The farther away it is, the weaker. Now you can test this. You can go like this, see if it snaps, versus which gives you a 2. When it's like this, the racket goes here. See how it goes only to here for playing. But keep my palm, and if I move it here, I can go down another ½ inch. So the greater the distance swing I can gather moment, the greater the snap range. The kinetic force can be built up based on speed. So the whole idea of where to put the little finger, I argue, the ring finger and little finger is here because one, they're closer to the palm. One, both of them, you can squeeze tight. Two, you can actually basically, when they're separated, you can let the racket drop back farther if you want. Now, most people have it like this. I'm arguing if you're really good to actually create a separation where you actually bring the racket to the ball. That's an advance in your idea of snapping. You get that down, you have a multiple effect you can't believe. If you're like this and hitting like this, and you do this, you can amplify your force by 30, 40% or even more at the contact of the ball for force. But that's another technique. That's a developed technique. Everything I'm showing you is developed, but this is basic. You can have it like this, so you have greater control force, not over versus this, because that way it's too far away from here. You got a separation, and it's weaker. How do you know it's weaker? Is you can put the racket like this on a table, a wall, and then squeeze. See how much you can bend your wrist down into it, versus if you move the little finger up, how much more can you put pressure? You can feel the pressure. I can bend the wrist into it. So my recommendation is you have them here like this, dot over down here, because it puts the little finger too far away from the palm and it separates the ring finger and little finger too much. Lessens the strength. And to back it up, just put it here, do it both ways, see which way will give you more pressure against your own hand. The next question is basically on the grip, more detail on the grip. My suggestion, how do you determine your grip? And my suggestion is start where you want to hit the ball. Say you want to hit the ball there, and look at my grip. Now, one, always point this finger out, never wrap around. That's a figure ergonomic thing. You want more force. You squeeze around here, your arm locks up. If you keep it like this, your arm is freer to move. So point this finger at the, basically when you want to hit. Have it straight out there really strong. See my thumb finger? Now this is a question mark. You want the greatest kinetic force, bring the thumb here like this. So you have these point here, here at the point, and then your thumb like this, squeezing. 2, when you squeeze, you're squeezing this finger here and this way together. That really makes it tight. I mean, you can press it. You can do it like this. Try this. You're like this, press against, then switch your thumb lengthwise. Then when you press this finger this way and this against the thumb here, see how it's going up and down, so it's the whole length up. Put it against here and see how much you can actually put in force. When you hit this way, your hand is linked to the grip much more dynamically. If it's connected to the grip better, it has to be better on there. So whatever you do with your hands can be transferred with your body through, can be greater with the snap. Now, this is involved. How do you determine to set your hands up? My suggestion is find out where you want your racket out here, then start shaping your hand around it. Now see how my finger is virtually pointing at the target. This finger, you don't want it off like this, you want it pointed at the target. So you literally shift here and wrap your palm, everything around that. So what it does for me is I'm on this edge here, here, and here. That gives you the most. So I can go like this. I go. So my palm is at its maximum force. So I come around and then snap. 2, when you want to hit the ball, aim the butt at the ball. Bring the butt towards the ball and then snap through. This is the best way. That's one way to do it. It's just like, when you're going to hit the ball, you squeeze. So if you want to really squeeze, so you're pressing that thumb here, here at the point of impact and the momentum, and you're following through. You have a, like I said, it's a bullwhip effect is what I'm striving for. So that's how you can judge which gives you more force. The next question the person asks is on the serve, the rotation of the shoulders, and on the serve, how do you develop it involved? Now, there's 2 methods. You got basic and advanced. And basic is real simple to save your shoulder, get more force involved. And it's basically when you toss up the ball, using this finger here, the middle finger, you pull back and touch here. As you're doing so, here, now you can hit. So you threw up here and then you could hit. Your shoulder rotation, so your shoulders can go straighter and you see how I can turn. So my whole body is turning. My rotation of my shoulders towards my target. That's the beauty of this one. It's like my rotation. So if I'm like this, so having that palm. So mind you, that way, that's basic. So you come like this, you throw up here, and then you can rotate. If you put it here, see my shoulder can't, you're stuck. You have to go like this. You have to rotate. Here's the sensation. By doing this, your torso doesn't have to go throwing forward. Therefore, guess what? It's all in your arms, momentum, and striking. When you do this, you actually shorten the range of the racket. You shorten the forward motion. You hurt your shoulder. You'll hurt yourself with all that momentum and no circle through, because once you go through, then you have to come around to release that energy. You have to circle around. You can actually go like this and go down like this would be better. But when you do this, you come around, or do this, come around. But when you do this, look at my shoulder. It's stuck, and it will hurt you in time. You do this. Now, the advanced stage. This takes timing. You really have to want to alter your whole ability. And this is training. This takes physical training. and it's called a push-pull situation. This is when you throw up, you keep your hand up to the ball. When you want that club to come after it, you literally bring this finger back and the shoulder rotates with this. So everything moves forward. So when this is touching here, this is hitting the ball. That's the goal. When this hits here, you're hitting the ball at the same time. That gives you the full force of how much power, because it's like you could really determine the speed by how fast. So how fast you pull your hand back is how fast the shoulder rotates and the hand goes forward at the same time. It's a little timing there, but if you want speed, that right hand speed, the left hand determines the speed in this, if you want to say next stage up in the serve. So how do you develop that? And if you go to Qigong Masters or Tai Chi, it's called a push-pull system. And it's a linking of your hand, literally. This finger here, your energy here. Let me put this here. It's pulling here, and it's like you're pulling here. So you can actually feel. So you're looping across here, across your back to this hand here, to the hand itself. Pulling. So if I was pulling someone, here, I got someone here, I'm pulling a pull. As I'm pulling the person in, my hand is going forward. So if I push, pull. So I'm pulling and I'm pushing at the same time. So I'm using that balance here to rotate into him based on it. Versus if I'm just trying to push him, I'm just trying to use my lower body. I'm actually using the other person or other force in my hand to push against, put energy or force into my right hand. It's a sensation. That's the best way I can put it. It takes control, it takes some timing, and you develop that feel across your hand, around your middle of your back, not your shoulders, middle of your back around to this hand here. So it's called a push-pull or pull-push. You decide. So I'm pulling, I'm pushing. I'm pushing, I'm pulling. Sometimes you push and you can pull more like this. If you got a pull right here, so imagine you had a pull right here and you have someone here and you want to pull them, you just turn your shoulders, because you're using the force of that pull to push against around. Understanding that. So the basic one is very simple. It takes some time. It's different feeling. You don't have to throw your body forward, lunge, jump up, all that. That's just simple. Bring here as soon as you throw the ball up, bring here, and then you can just rotate your shoulders and see how much I can turn. That's the other thing. Here, into my target. My shoulders totally turn to my side. So I go like this, and then after I serve, I can come down or come across, and then or come around. So there's a lot of keep going momentum discharging after you serve. So these are answers to questions. The push-pull concept of determining your speed, making the right hand speed determined by the left hand. The faster you can pull the left hand, as fast as you can pull the right hand forward. That's one question. The second question is grip. If the little finger should be around the butt here or should be here. Now look at it again. Here or here. It's here, I argue, to shaping the grip where it's like this. It's really critical on how you angle this, believe me, because it's like a unit versus if you do this. This gives you more whole connection to the racket itself to manipulate it. So see how the palm is? Be sure your finger pointed out and you're pressing here and you're pressing it. So this is when you're snapping, this is all loose, and when you want to stop, you're hitting, everything clamps. This clamps here, here, here. All the fingers are engaged at the point of contact, like a snap. And basically, you're doing it here, and when you get about here with the ball, so you about here, here's the ball, and then you go like that. So it's a very timing feel, but once you develop the feel for it, your force that you can put into your racket is exponential to any other form I know of on that. That's the goal. How much energy can you put into the racket? And all grip and body movement is the factor that you want. So finding what makes, and how do you test that? I would argue there's many ways, but put it on just on your palm here and press against it versus different ways. Which would give you more? 2, don't forget, have that bone really set up at a point in your racket. That bone, because that bone is what you're going to twist your wrist against. That bone is going into the racket. That's your point. You don't want muscle. You want a bone against the racket in order to snap your wrist with it. You know, that way you got hard, soft. This is somewhat soft. So understanding how to use the hand and finger ergonomics is part of really enhancing your understanding, and you're playing around how to increase the amount of force going into your hand. 2 is, like I said, pulling back here, getting that timing down is how fast can you pull the left hand back, and that brings the right hand to the point you want. So this is tennis serve mechanics. This is answering 2 questions, and I look for the other videos, and please ask some questions and see what I can come up with to give you better understanding for your enhancement of your serve.